He's the dashing doctor whose big day with Layla was almost ruined by bunny boiler Bernice. Over the past couple of years, Liam Kavanagh has certainly made an impression on our favourite fictional farm, Emmerdale. But now things are about to take a turn for the doctor, as the murder of his daughter Leanna leaves him at the heart of his tragic storyline. Oh, and Jonny McPherson, who plays Liam, is here now. Goodness me, it's high drama and emotion your end, isn't it?
It is. God, that nearly made me go again. Oh, yeah, it has been. It's been a hell of a few weeks filming all of this storyline. I think, especially the first 2.5 years or so of the character being on the show. He's just generally been doing quite light-hearted stuff. He's been found in compromising positions in bushes with ladies. He's generally going around, but he's just being a bit daft. And yeah, when I first spoke to the producers about this storyline coming up, I thought, I wonder what it's going to be. Is it going to be eased into something a bit meatier and more emotional? And it's, I think arguably it's the worst thing that can possibly happen to a human in their life, losing their 18-year-old daughter, their only child, on her birthday, after her mother has also passed. I mean, it's just unimaginably awful.
And I guess you had a really close relationship with Mimi, who plays Leanna. So did that make it feel even more emotional because you guys are quite close and she's quite young?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've watched her grow up from, 15 when she first started the show to 18, and I've just watched her, flourish in terms of, an actress, but also, yeah, you do, just by the very nature of the job, which is, if you're having to constantly portray a parental, a child-parent dynamic, then it sort of short-circuits your brain into actually having those feelings for that person. So I do have a genuinely sort of parental sense of protection over us. So yeah, when it came to actually thinking about, imagining her, at the bottom of the bridge, it wasn't hard really to bring the tears because, obviously you care about her an awful lot.
And obviously they're very dramatic scenes that you've had to do. How did you do that in the middle of a pandemic? Because there's been quite a few restrictions, hasn't there?
Yeah, there have been. And I was quite concerned about it when I first heard we'd be doing this and we wouldn't be able to have any contact. I thought, if you're a parent and you lose a child, then the first thing you want to do is surely just scoop them up. You want to hold them, you want to... And then I just thought, how's it going to work? Is that going to be quite a tricky sticking point? But the way it was written, I think in lots of respects, the restrictions that we have to deal with at the moment, they kind of creatively are quite interesting. So what I think it led the writers and producers to do is to say, well, let's make it that he's just totally dumbfounded. He's just lost, he's just stood there rooted to the spot, can't process any of what's happening in front of him. And I think it worked. I think it worked.
And Jonny, that is such an emotionally, wrought scene. It's devastating. Did you have any personal experiences or something that you could draw from to get into that role?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't have children myself, so, it was quite important to me to try and do it justice. I mean, I think that there are so many people out there who watch the show and they will have lost a child, so it just felt like, out of respect to them more than anything, you just want to ensure that you're meeting that level of grief, that emotional truth, if you like. So the closest I could get to really was my dad died about 12 years ago, Midas, and he died quite suddenly in intensive care. And I remember I had to see him, when he was dead. And like I said, it was quite a shock. And I just remember the sort of intensity of the grief. It was quite sort of animalistic. It was a real kind of just completely lost control of my brain, and I think it was there's lots of wailing going on, and I was holding his hand against my head, and I thought if you're going to draw on anything, it's going to be that level of emotional turmoil.
Bless you.
And hopefully it got somewhere close to that.
Yeah, they're very powerful scenes. And then obviously at the end of each day, most actors kind of go home and switch off. But I was fascinated to see that you actually live on a houseboat. Is that right?
That's right, yes. Yeah, so, oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I've had it now for about 4 years now. So yeah, I bought it in Northampton, chugged it down to London, and then London all the way up to Leeds. That took 4 months, which was
Wow.
that was one hell of a journey.
And what do you get? What do you get? Do you like the kind of slightly nomadic lifestyle that gives you?
I do. I feel like I've got a slightly sort of itinerant personality. I like just slightly gypsy call it. My dad was very much like that as well, and I don't like being static particularly. I like,
But
done theatre and toured around all over the place.
I have to ask you, Jonny, very quickly before we go, that I'm more interested in who you live there with, which is Molly, the poodle
Darling,
that you rescued.
Oh, look at her. No, she's absolutely beautiful. I've had her now for about 8 months or so. Oh, look at that face.
That's not a poodle. That's definitely not a poodle. That's not a poodle, Jonny. You've been duped there. That's not a poodle, is it? She's not a poodle.
No, so she's a collie whippet cross.
That's not close to a poodle.
She's beautiful.
She's so cute. Look, thank you so much for talking to us through the storyline. I know it's an emotional time for the cast and for your character. So watch it all unfold from 7. Thanks so much for talking to us. See ya.